68. I think I took the wrong turn. I'm just gonna walk toward town. I'll be fine.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're diving into a case that has baffled investigators and haunted a family for over 15 years. A case with a chilling last phone call, a desperate search, and absolutely no trace left behind. We're talking about the disappearance of Brandon Swanson. Brandon Swanson was a bright, outgoing 19-year-old from Marshall, Minnesota. He was studying wind energy technology at the Canby Technical College, and by all accounts was a responsible and well-liked young man. The night of May 13th, 2008 was supposed to be a typical one for Brandon. He just finished his last day of classes before summer break and had driven to Canby to celebrate with friends. He left the party sometime around midnight, intending to drive home to Marshall. It's a drive he'd made countless times, but this night something went terribly wrong. At around 2 a.m., Brandon called his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson, from his cell phone. He told them he was stuck in a ditch near Lind, a town roughly 10 miles west of Marshall. He wasn't injured, and his car, a green Chevy Lumina, was still running, but he couldn't get it out. His dad, Brian, immediately got in his truck and drove towards Lind to pick him up. Brian drove along Highway 68, scanning the ditches, but saw no sign of Brandon or his car. Brandon, meanwhile, was still on the phone with his dad, trying to describe his surroundings. He mentioned seeing lights in the distance and being near a gravel road. After about 45 minutes of searching and constant communication, Brandon, frustrated, decided to get out of his car and start walking towards the lights he saw, believing they were from Lind. He told his dad he was walking along a fence line and following a small creek. This is where the story takes a truly chilling turn. Around 2:30 a.m., while still on the phone with his dad, Brandon suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, sah!" Then the line went silent. Brian called back immediately, but there was no answer. Brandon Swanson was gone. Brian and Annette spent the rest of the night driving around the Lynn area, frantically searching. They contacted the police at 3:30 a.m., reporting Brandon missing. The official search began at daybreak. What ensued was an extensive search involving multiple agencies, K-9 units, ATVs, and even a helicopter. They scoured hundreds of acres, but there was no trace of Brandon, his car, or any personal belongings. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The baffling part was the discrepancy in location. Brandon was convinced he was near Lynn, but after triangulating his cell phone signal, investigators discovered his calls were actually pinging from an area much further north, closer to Porter and Taunton, Minnesota. This meant Brandon had been lost, disoriented, and significantly off course. His car was eventually found days later, not in a ditch near Lynn, but in a field bordering a gravel road, several miles north of Taunton, and about 25 miles from where he told his parents he was. The car was indeed stuck, but undamaged. The keys were in the ignition, the lights were on, and there was nothing to suggest foul play at the vehicle. So if his car was found near Taunton, why was he telling his parents he was near Lynn? And what caused that terrified "oh, sss" and the sudden silence on the phone? There are several theories out there about what happened to Brandon. Theory 1, accidental fall and exposure. The area where his cell phone pinged is rural, with many fields, dense brush, and, crucially, the Yellow Medicine River. It's possible in the dark and disoriented, he fell into the river or another body of water and succumbed to the elements. Given the time of year, the water would have been cold. The ek could have been him slipping or encountering a sudden drop. Theory 2, encounter with a person or animal. Visual, dark, isolated road, perhaps a subtle, fleeting shadow in the distance. While less likely given the lack of evidence, some have speculated Brandon might have encountered someone after leaving his car. Or perhaps he stumbled upon a wild animal that startled him, causing him to fall or flee. However, extensive searches of the area yielded no signs of struggle or any other person, disorientation, and hypothermia. Even without falling into water, the rural landscape, combined with disorientation and possibly the effects of alcohol, though his BAC was never confirmed, could have led to him becoming severely lost and succumbing to hypothermia or exposure. The "oh, might have been a sudden realization of his dire situation or a physical symptom. Despite years of dedicated searching by his family, law enforcement, and countless volunteers, Brandon Swanson's whereabouts remain a complete mystery. His parents, Brian and Annette, have never given up hope, continuing to advocate for their son and keep his case in the public eye. What makes this case so particularly unsettling is that last phone call. That sudden, terrified exclamation, and then nothing. It leaves so many unanswered questions. What did Brandon see? What did he encounter that caused such a visceral reaction? The Brandon Swanson case is a stark reminder of how quickly someone can vanish, even in seemingly safe circumstances. It's a tragedy that continues to haunt the small communities of southwestern Minnesota and serves as a chilling example of a modern-day vanishing. What are your thoughts on Brandon's disappearance? Do you have a theory about what might have happened during that final, terrifying phone call? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more future content. See you next time. Bye.